So I'm Russell Dobular sitting in for Jimmy Dore, who is performing in El Paso, Texas on Friday. So our illustrious president, this is not the first time, decided to read all the words on the teleprompter, including the stage directions.
I love it.
So Biden reads every word on the teleprompter, including the word pause, during a national trade union conference speech. Imagine what we could do next 4 years. Pause.
That's so great.
Americans are increasingly worried about Biden's mental state going into the election. According to a new AP poll, 63% of Americans are not very or not at all confident in Biden's mental capacity to serve as president. Biden is 81 years old and will be 88 by the time he leaves office if he wins in 2024.
That's more than vote. Isn't it? Isn't that more than vote in the goddamn election?
A lot. Well, that's a lot more than vote in the election.
So people don't even...
what was it? It's about 66% around there, right, Keaton? That vote in the presidential? About that? All right, so let's take a look.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause.
4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
Yeah.
Now I realized this,
and they just
I covered this
that.
on the show earlier. I covered this on our show in the afternoon. I think what happened there was not only did he read the word pause, but he read the word 4 more years wrong. I'm convinced that in the teleprompter he says, "Imagine what we could do next. 4 more years. Pause." My theory is that 4 more years was scripted for the audience. In other words, it was scripted in the speech.
Interesting.
Imagine what we could do next. Okay, now the audience is going to chant 4 more years and you pause while they do that. Because when you think about it, why would he start a sentence 4 more years? It doesn't make sense. Imagine what we could do next, period. Go to the audience. 4 more years, 4 more years. So I think he read both. I don't think he was supposed to say 4 more years either. I think that was a direction to the audience, which if that theory is true, and I think it is, that means 2 things. It means, number one, he's a fucking not there. He's not paying attention to what he's reading. He's just reading the teleprompter, spaced out, and read it wrong. But it also means the audience was coached. The audience was on script. The audience knew, okay, when he says this line here, imagine what we could do next, you're supposed to chant 4 more years. And the fact that they missed their cue is probably one of the reasons why he fucked up and read 4 more years. Because they were probably supposed to come in with the 4 more years chant after he said, imagine what we could do next.
I believe your conspiracy.
You know what?
That's my theory.
You know what? Yeah. You sold me.
Yes, go ahead. Show it again. Show the replay.
That makes a lot of sense because that didn't seem spontaneous.
He's not supposed to go.
The way they all of a sudden broke out into 4 more years, especially because it was such a weird
4 more
moment.
years? Why would 4 more years begin a sentence? Because if you notice, imagine what we could do next. Then he starts the sentence, 4 more years.
I think this is an exclusive. I think we have an exclusive.
Well, maybe
here.
Okay. Maybe he was supposed to get a chant himself going of 4 more years.
No, I think the audience was supposed to take
they were
that
too
as an
quick on it.
invitation.
Keaton's right. They were too quick on it.
Yeah, well,
and especially a weird moment like that where,
go ahead,
where the guy goes
again.
pause.
Let's see.
Just trying to steal
show one more time.
A man with oatmeal brain.
All right, let's see one more time to see if Keaton's right about this.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause.
4 more years.
I think you're right.
And they come in with the chant.
Imagine what the hell that was.
Right.
Well,
yes, we got an exclusive. I don't think anybody else covering this caught that. You heard it here first, folks.
You didn't even hear it on our show. My take on this sucks for our show because I didn't figure this out until after we did our show.
Why would he?
And then I'm listening to it back and I'm like, you know what? No, I thought he said 4 more. I thought he was supposed to start a sentence 4 more years and then he was supposed to pause while the audience chanted. But no, it was scripted in the event that was the audience's line.
Well, I think the smoking gun is the audience's behavior because you got a moment where a guy goes 4 more years, pause. Even if you did break out into a chant like that, there'd be like an awkward moment there, and then somebody would get it going. You wouldn't have just everybody on cue on the guy saying pause.
Start
4 more years. They were already ready to go. And then they were just like, all right, go.
Start slow clap for yourself.
Right,
Pause.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is a show.
Yeah.
Kurt, you got a show later this week. Plug
Come
it, baby.
to Vegas at the Wise Guys in the Art District. Come see me at Wise Guys Comedy Club. Las Vegas this weekend, Friday, Saturday.
All right. And Keaton, where can the people find you?
Due Dissidents, YouTube and Rumble. We're on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The show never stops.
Right,
we just take breaks.
Hey, get this. So we all know that the mainstream news media is not reliable. How can you trust them when they've never told you the truth about Russiagate, Ukraine, COVID, lockdowns, anything? That's where our sponsor, we have a new sponsor, Ground News, comes in handy. Ground News is an app and a website. And what they do is they gather related articles from around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. So it's not, they don't generate the news, they compile the news, and then they give you the visual breakdown of the news outlets and tell you if the source has a political bias, and if it does, what's the political bias, and how reliable that the reporting is, and who owns them. So it's super helpful and transparent. Check this out. So like if you search Russia-Ukraine, search Russia-Ukraine war, and you'll see how it's covered. Here we see 111 total news sources. 18 of them are left-leaning, 9 are right-leaning, and 27 of them are centrist. The bias distribution is 50% center, and it even shows their logos along with their factuality and ownership. So this is a pretty helpful, this is pretty, dare I say, use an old-timey term, this is a neat website. So this is a good way to do your own research. So you get there, you see that they help you by seeing what the bias is, by who owns these news outlets, but it compiles all different kinds of sources around one news story. So it gets you access to independent and international perspectives, not just nationalist sources with the same political agenda. It helps you find the discrepancies in how certain topics are covered and shows you how corporate agendas can influence the news you read. Sounds a lot like this show. Sounds like this website does what this show does. Sounds nice. So if you want to see it for yourself, go to ground.news/JD. Ground.news/JD. Use the link below, and we're going to get you 40% off unlimited access. Go to ground.news/JD, and we're going to get you 40% off unlimited access. Think critically about the news you consume. Hey, come see us do a live show in El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Denver, Colorado, Los Angeles, California, May 19th at the Zephyr Theater. That's a panel show with video. Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Ontario, California, Irvine, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.